Hello and welcome to David's Gift. My name is Sally Thibault. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the one topic that raises more emotion than any other topic I ever speak about, and that's the subject of bullying. But before I share with you the top 4 strategies we've used to help empower our children to deal effectively and successfully against bullies, I want to share with you a story. A couple of days ago, my husband received a phone call from a female work colleague who was justifiably very upset following a verbally abusive phone call from a client. Now, when my husband was telling me this story, it reminded me yet again of how incredibly important it is for us as parents to arm our children with the tools, the ability, the strength of self, the belief in self, and the self-confidence to be able to create their own strategies for life throughout their lives, long after we're there to protect them. You see, bullying is not just reserved for the schoolyard. Bullying happens everywhere and has become an endemic part of our lives. Do you know, right now there's massive anti-bullying campaigns, schools have bully-free policies, it's discussed in the media and online, and even now in the workplace. But the fact is this, we are never going to stamp out bullying. But what we can do is give our children the skill sets and the confidence and the belief in themselves, and they never become a bullied victim. So, the 4 strategies we've used in the past to help our children deal successfully with bullies are: number 1, if your child is being bullied, help them understand why somebody bullies. You see, in the past, we've come across people who bully for 3 reasons. 1, they feel disempowered. 2, they have a very low self-worth. And 3, they're very inconfident. And so they seek out those who will react and respond to their bullying to pull the power away from that person. Now, if you have a child on the autism spectrum, they're often a target because for a number of reasons. They're often isolated, they often don't understand what's going on, and they often have low verbal skills, so we're a brilliant target. But on the other end of the spectrum, children who are high achievers are often bullied as well. But if you can help your child understand that when somebody bullies you, it's because of what's going on in their life. Our favourite saying in our house is that what other people think of you is none of your business. If you can understand where a bully actually comes from, you will never give your power across to them. You see, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to gain power from you. So help your child understand that every time somebody does something to you that's uncomfortable, such as bullying, it's about them. It's not about you. And your role is not to hand your power over to the bully. Number 2, if your child tells you they're being bullied, the thing you must do is hand back the power to them, because it's a very disempowering sense if somebody's lording control over you. And so by doing that, it's important for us as parents, as much as it hurts and as much as you want to just go take on the world, is to not get emotional or angry about it, but rather ask open-ended questions and identify and acknowledge your child's feelings. So if your child comes and tells you they've been bullied, the first thing to say is, that is not acceptable. You must feel very hurt, upset, sad, angry, frustrated. Whatever the emotion is, try and identify that, because right in there is very powerful. If you can identify the emotion, you know what you're dealing with. Second thing to do is to continue to ask open-ended questions. Questions such as, what happened next? And then what did you do? And then how did that make you feel? And then the next set of questions is, so if that happens again, how do you think you could handle that a little bit better? Who are the other groups of people you could go sit with at the lunchtime? Is there something else you can do rather than hanging around the playground on your own? Perhaps could you go into the library? Well, the 2 most important questions I've found is 1, do you want me to get involved? Or 2, would you like me to help? Because by empowering your child to create their own strategies, what you're doing is instilling a sense of confidence and powerfulness that will hold them in good stead for the rest of their lives. Because whenever an issue rises like that at work, where you can't be there to protect them, they'll automatically go back to that skill set you've taught them. How am I feeling? What do I need to do? Number 3, if it's getting out of control, or if you feel this is beyond your child's ability to cope with this, after you've done the first 2 things, then take it straight to the school. And before you take it to the school, you need to document exactly what your child has told you and how they're feeling. Because it's important you remove your emotion. And if you can remove your emotion and look at it objectively, you empower your child. Because they're running on your emotion at this time and watching how you're going to react. So by taking the document to the school and being very objective about this, you give the school real tools that they can deal with this effectively. Because schools work on this no blame policy, where they bring both children in, hear both sides of the story, and then try to find the middle ground. And hopefully they're teaching the bully to have compassion, see that they've hurt the other child, and again to empower the victim in order for them perhaps to receive apology from the bully. However, in my experience over many, many years of bullying incidences, let me tell you, that's not always the case. And especially if you have a child on the autism spectrum, because the minute you have to bring your child into a situation where you ask them what's happened, many of them have no idea. Many of them have little verbal skills to explain exactly what happens, and so you automatically put your child with ASD on the back foot. So by documenting, you build a dossier or a story around it, and by that way you can keep a track. Ask the teachers what's doing, what are they doing, how are they solving this, what strategies are they putting in place, and follow it up. And number 4, and perhaps most important, if your child tells you they're being bullied, just make sure that this is about them and not you. Do you know, a friend of mine once told me, I didn't realise when my child was bullied that this would hurt 10 times more than anything I've ever experienced. You see, often with bullying what we do is it brings up unresolved emotions for us, especially if we've been bullied or we've been isolated in our lives. You see, our role as parents is to raise our children wisely, to give them the skills and the belief in themselves and the confidence to spread their wings and create their own lives. But they can't do that if they're tethered to the tarmac by the shadow of our unresolved emotions. So it's important you give the gift of wisdom to your child to make sure that when they're being bullied, if they're being bullied, this is about them and not about you. I hope some of these strategies have helped, and I look forward to continuing on this series about bullying because there's so many more strategies we've used. These are our top 4. I look forward to talking with you soon. Bye for now.